Hello and welcome to Derek McGuire's Week 14 coding assignment video. This continues work on the Pet Store REST API that we created in Week 13. I've got the entity relationship diagram here to show how this all connects. And in Eclipse, we updated the Spring Boot application layer, so we've got the input-output layer, the service layer, and the data layer. Service layer methods for inserting or posting and updating or putting. The HTTP verb for updating is put and for creating is post. And then using a data transfer object, which we have here, the Pet Store data class, Pet Store customer class, and then Pet Store employee classes. We've got the fields that are going to be passed through the layers. We've got the Pet Store controller that has the post mapping and put mapping with the resource ID, Pet Store service, which has the save Pet Store method, and also copy Pet Store fields, find or create Pet Store. This week we also did the global error handler, which has the handle no such element exception method that's going to pass through the message and the exception, and in the ARC or Advanced REST client, it's going to do the 404 not found. It would have done 500, but now it'll do 404. So let me stop this actually and run the application. Also want to mention I got the Pet Store DAO, which extends, it's an interface that extends the JPA repository and takes Pet Store object and long data type, so that when this is used here in the Pet Store service class, it's going to pass through, and this helps, the data transfer object helps Jackson and JSON not go in an infinite recursive loop. And then we've got the insert Pet Store and update Pet Store methods that are going to go along, they're going to post or put, going along, taking the body. And this is the annotation for Spring. Path variable gives the primary key for Pet Store ID. And okay, so now this is running. Let me go to dbeaver and just refresh. Everything is blank now. And let me go in now and change the address, change the verb. So we're going to post to the application, the resource here, Pet Store. And I've got the JSON pre-made here. The JSON is the JavaScript object notation. And in the body here, I can paste that. Really cool Pet Store, Gangrene, Georgia. 201 code means that was a success and it gave ID 1. If I go to dbeaver here, we've got the really cool Pet Store in Georgia with all the fields filled out. And note how the field names have to exactly match what was in our DTO class. Exact same casing and spelling. And so that was a success. Let me add a few more just to show. Got Exotic Pet Store in Richmond, Virginia. And I can just run this. We got Pet Store ID 2. Success. And then Georgia Pet Store in Atlanta. I am going to run that, and now we've got Pet Store ID 3. If I go to dbeaver, I can refresh, and I have 3 pet stores here. So now I am going to modify. This is another method we created. If I change in the ARC client here, the Advanced REST client, change it to put to update, and I need to indicate the resource ID. I'm going to go with 1 for really cool Pet Store. Let's say they moved from Gangrene to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Changing all the fields here. Field names are the same, but changing the data and running that. 200, okay, response. Pet Store ID, if I go and refresh. Kalamazoo, Michigan for our first pet store, which is good. And then let's say I wanted to modify Pet Store ID 5. Pet Store ID 5 doesn't exist, but if I run it, I get the 404 error, which is the global handler at work, and Pet Store with ID 5 was not found. 404 code was good. Thank you for watching, and have a great week.